All right, so let's jump right in. The 19th century, man, what a time of change. Everything was in flux and art was right there in the thick of it. What we're going to do is trace this really incredible shift in how artists looked at the world. It's basically a journey from painting what you feel to painting what you actually see. Okay, so take a look at these two. On the left, you've got a masterpiece by Turner from 1844. On the right, that's Monet from 1877. I mean, just look at them. The energy, the way they capture light, this very modern subject of a train. They feel so similar, right? But here's the crazy part. How did Turner paint something that looks for all the world like an Impressionist painting, a full 30 years before Impressionism was even a thing? That's the puzzle we're going to solve. And you know what? Our whole journey starts with that very artist, J.M.W. Turner. This guy was the absolute peak of the Romantic movement. He was a painter who, well, he wasn't just painting a pretty picture. He was trying to paint a feeling. I mean, just look at this. The sheer, beautiful chaos of his painting Snowstorm. You can barely make out the boat. It's less a painting of a boat in a storm and more a painting of the storm itself. See, Turner's goal wasn't to give you a postcard of a storm. He wanted you to feel what it was like to be right in the middle of it. That terrifying, overwhelming, awe-inspiring power. And that powerful feeling, it actually has a name. It's called the sublime. You know that feeling, that mix of complete awe and maybe a little bit of terror you get when you're standing on the edge of a huge canyon or watching a massive thunderstorm roll in? That's it. For romantics like Turner, that was the ultimate experience. That was the real subject of their art. It was all about raw, pure, unfiltered emotion. Yeah, but not everyone was on board. This caricature from 1846 just shows you how completely misunderstood he was. Critics at the time literally accused him of just sloshing paint around with a mop. They called his work soap suds and whitewash. Can you believe that? They thought he was totally nuts, but the truth is, he was just way, way ahead of his time. So while Turner is out there chasing these epic, sublime feelings, his contemporary, John Constable, was doing something just as revolutionary. But he was coming at it from a totally different angle. He was, believe it or not, bringing science into the art studio. Constable's mission was actually pretty simple, but at the time it was radical. He just wanted to paint England, but not some fantasy, idealized, classical version of it. No, he wanted to paint the real England he grew up in, the damp, cloudy, green England. He was sick and tired of all these landscape paintings that looked more like sunny Italy than his home in Suffolk. What he wanted was truth. And when I say scientific, I mean it. His dedication was almost obsessive. He would study the sky for hours, creating hundreds of these skying studies, just like this one. He'd even scribble notes on the back, the date, the time of day, which way the wind was blowing. He was literally treating the English weather like a scientific phenomenon that needed to be recorded and understood. And all of that careful observation, all that scientific dedication, it all comes together in his most famous painting, The Hay Wain. Look at it. There's no big drama here, right? No gods, no mythical heroes. It's just a cart, a little house, a stream. It's a real, honest-to-goodness working landscape captured with this incredible sense of naturalism. And now for the big reveal, the aha moment. On the left, you've got the painting. And on the right, that's a photograph of the exact same spot today. It's a real place called Willie Lott's house in Suffolk. And this is so important. He wasn't painting some idea of the countryside. He was painting a specific, real, identifiable place. That was a huge, huge step towards what we now call realism. Okay, so this growing obsession with reality now takes us across the English Channel and over to France. And there, we need an artist named Camille Corot, who took these ideas from Constable and kind of made them more personal, a bit more poetic. See, Corot wasn't really interested in Turner's epic storms or even Constable's detailed working farms. He was after something else. He created what the French called the paysage intime, the intimate landscape. And that's exactly what they feel like. His paintings are quiet, they're personal, they feel almost like a memory of a peaceful walk you once took in the woods. And to get that intimate, personal feeling, Corot started experimenting with this totally fascinating new technique called cliché vert. It's this incredible hybrid of drawing and photography. It creates this wonderfully atmospheric, almost ghostly quality you see here. It kind of looks like an etching, doesn't it? but it's actually a print made with light. So you're probably wondering, how on earth did he pull that off? I mean, how do you draw with light? Well, the process was pure 19th century genius. It's so cool. First, you take a glass plate and you coat it with a dark chemical that's sensitive to light. Then you grab a sharp tool, like a stylus, and you literally scratch your drawing into that coating. That lets the light through just where you've drawn. And the final step, you place that glass plate on top of photographic paper, expose it to sunlight, and bam, you've got a print. It's this perfect marriage of old school drawing and brand new technology. Which brings us to our final figure. The guy who would take all these simmering ideas about painting reality and just blow them up into a full-blown artistic revolution. Everybody, meet Gustave Courbet, the ultimate provocateur. So on the left, you see a photograph of Courbet. He looks pretty intense, right? Thoughtful. Then on the right, you've got this caricature of him as this huge, swaggering, pipe-smoking giant. And you know what? Both are kind of true. He was this absolutely larger-than-life personality, and he was dead set on tearing down every single old rule in the art world. And the movement he championed? It was called Realism. The main rule was brutally, beautifully simple. Artists should only paint what they can actually see with their own two eyes. That's it. Nothing more. No ancient battles you didn't witness, no religious figures you've never met, no complicated allegories, just the real world, the here and now. And this one famous quote from him just says it all. I cannot paint an angel because I have never seen one. Boom. With that single sentence, Courbet basically threw centuries of art history out the window. For him, if it wasn't real, it just wasn't art, period. And you can probably guess what happened next. The art establishment was absolutely horrified. They looked at his paintings of regular people, stonebreakers, farmers, and thought they were ugly, even vulgar. This cartoon here even shows him as a martyr, getting shot with arrows by all the angry critics. His commitment to painting what was real was seen as a full-on attack on the very idea of beauty. So there you have it. The journey was pretty much complete. We went from Turner painting raw emotion to Courbet painting undeniable reality. Artists had, in a way, conquered the visible world. But this victory created this huge new problem, a really profound question. If the whole point of art is just to copy reality, and now this new thing called photography can do that perfectly, well, what's the point of being a painter anymore? What was left for them to do? Well, the answer to that question would change art forever. The answer was to stop trying to paint reality itself and instead to paint the impression of reality. And that, my friends, is where Monet and the Impressionists come back into the picture. They took the baton from these pioneers and kicked off the incredible, wild ride that we call modern art.